it's all blown to pieces. The life we used to know, but here's a new start for everyone to take part. So come together, it's time to make it right. Every father and mother, every sister and brother, and we won't go until you get it. We don't want your money, we don't want your fame. You might think we're lonely, 'cause we don't play a game. But we don't want your fancy, crazy, stupid, lazy. We gaze in the sun.
shine in the crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds. We got nothing to lose, I know the time is right. Let us light up the fuse. And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know we're perfect, you and I. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't giving up without a fight. What I feel, I know it's right. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. We can shine in the crowd, we never hesitate. Let us rise to the clouds. We got nothing to lose, I know the time is right. Let us light up the fuse. And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know we're perfect, you and I. And I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't giving up without a fight. What I feel, I know it's right. Let us detonate tonight. Let us detonate tonight. No, it's right. Let us detonate tonight. of this one. Getting out of this one.
You had me right under your thumb every day, persuaded me in every single way. I was down in your life. Everyday surveillance on my social media, freaking me out. Leather jacket, shades and boots and bohemia, shallowphonia, shallowphonia. Slam the door behind you when you leave. I had enough. Heard that you've been snooping on my flat. Gone through all of my stuff. Everyday surveillance on my social media, freaking me out. Leather jacket, shades and boots and bohemia, shallowphonia, shallowphonia. I should've known this.
above the water. Cold breath, I cannot stand up, too much weight on my shoulders. Messed up, I wanna stay together, but I need someone who's holding. And oh, I have someone who's holding when you call in. Like magic, you're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. I'll go with you all the way to the moon. If you're keeping it together too. Insane, sometimes it feels like I'm just dancing on the border. Tether, without you I would be lost around the corners. Steady, but only as long as I get you there to hold me. And I got you there to hold me. Never stop calling like magic. You're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. I'll go with you all the way to the moon. If you're keeping it together too. Like magic, you're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. Like magic, you're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. I'll go with you all the way to the moon. If you're keeping it together too. Like magic, you're lifting off the shade from my mood. I'm keeping it together for you. I'll go with you all the way to the moon. If you're keeping it together too.
Do you remember the time when we were young and wild and free? Do you remember that life we had together? We can fall in love, and we can fall in love, and we can fall in love again, again. And we can fall in love, and we can fall in love, and we can fall in love again, again.
I gotta take out Terrorblade. But it seems like, you know what, they say we have first pick. We're gonna take Terrorblade ourselves instead.
Yeah, that game, if I'm right to remember, that was when ISOS actually fell back to playing Timbersaw, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah,
Was it offlane Timber or?
It was not. He actually played offlane Timber.
Okay.
Because I did cast that game. It was yesterday, but it feels like ages ago.
With
But I'm pretty
Blaze,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, he actually ended up playing the Timbersaw again. But I mean, Pix as well wants to talk about this Storm Spirit. I mean, Storm. This is a very kind of particular pick that, you know, a lot of teams they don't want to touch this hero, but some teams in the China region still do, don't they?
Yeah, in C2 we just saw.
And in C, yeah.
Was it Fnatic? Mid one was playing it with.
I think so. I didn't really watch that game with too much attention, but
you were
someone was.
casting, yeah.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, the Storm Spirit. Do you still think Storm Spirit pretty good hero? Has it got its strengths?
I think Storm Spirit is actually very playable if you have a Storm player, and CTY is really good on Storm.
Yes.
I say really good, because he plays, like, to me, like the Storm Incarnate.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
He is.
If you have
Storm Spirit.
If you have a Dota player that could transport the game of Dota 2, he probably might be Storm. Yeah.
The play style, or
he's really, really aggressive, and sometimes he's so aggressive that he like just kind of dies.
Okay.
That's so I'm gonna be on the lookout for that one. But that's CTY. They used to call him the 6-minute god, because he is so good at the laning stage, at dominating the lane. And Storm, if you get a good start, you can just run away with the game. So Vici Gaming, from the way they're drafting it, they're just throwing shit at you, right? They're gonna give you the Storm, they're gonna give you the Terrorblade, and they're saying, Ehome, you deal with this.
Oh, let's talk about Ehome.
Okay.
This might be one of those games, you know, they say, well, you're not playing Naga, you're not playing Terrorblade, and Ehome, they draft the Timbersaw, and as I said, last time they did that, against Wings, they did just move Ice back onto the Timbersaw, onto the solo lane.
Yeah.
And, I can't remember who that meant that they played carry. It was obviously
Old Chicken?
I think it was Old Chicken then. Well, oh yeah, because old 11 plays the mid.
Yeah.
No, Old Chicken plays mid Mirana. Yeah, so Old 11 then played the safe laner.
I get these old guys mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, Ice Timbersaw. Obviously not enough to beat Wings, as they ended up losing that game. But Wings, of course, just the Wings are a crazy team. They're a lot of fun to watch, and they do win some crazy games. But I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be Ice. But I think when you have a Timbersaw, it's, you know, Ice Timbersaw is so reliable.
He
you
really
just kind of have to move him back onto that position.
He really likes playing the hero, so if they pick it, I imagine he'll play it.
Yeah.
So the one thing about both of these teams, they're very similar in the fact that when they're ahead, they really they play much better. Like they're the team that when they get hot, they just keep going for kills. They like to kind of snowball.
Yeah.
But they're not very good at keeping leads.
Oh, okay.
So I feel like this game, we might see a lot of 3-2-2. Like
this is gonna go.
like,
boom, boom,
they're
boom.
gonna go ahead and then they're gonna dive a little bit deeper. And with heroes like Storm and Timbersaw, you know, the Bloodstone carrier, that's gonna get really out of control when one gets ahead.
Oh, hello.
And you keep the lead. The side mostly pick for the Timbersaw, I think, as well as Mirana.
That is an interest. I mean, Skyrath Mage. I'm looking at that. It feels like this is a team that is very susceptible to like magical burst. And Mirana, Elder Titan, Timbersaw. You've got a lot of that.
Okay. I mean, I think it's vice versa, right? Both teams.
I guess that's true as well. Yeah. Yeah. If you silence them and burst, yeah. But I think, yeah, it seems like a very volatile game that could just go bam, bam. Team fights could go both ways.
It actually will be very fun for you to cast.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of action.
Yeah. I'm actually concerned for Vici. Like, if you look at the draft, if they're behind, if they have to kind of defend their towers, how are they actually defending towers?
Yeah, where's the wave clear?
You asked me. I'm the analyst. I'm looking at these 4 heroes. Wave of terror, bro.
Yeah?
The wave clear.
I guess so. I guess and the Storm Spirit's what rents, but...
It ain't great.
Then you got to get yourself right in the middle of the action. Yeah,
maybe their last pick would remedy this. They need a.
They still need what they're off
lane. Yeah.
Any good wave clearing off lane is still in the pool.
I mean, let's look at the most common off lane. Like, Tie Hunter is banned out, Darkseid is banned out, Slaughter is banned out,
Void's
banned out. Phoenix maybe with a beam on the off lane.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just thinking of lane that could actually wave clear. And
do these guys play puck? I'm guessing not.
It's ROTK. He only plays like 3 heroes.
Yeah.
And they're all banned out.
Sensor? No, not against the Timbersaw. What
ROTK plays Prophet, but I don't know if this is a Prophet draft.
Clockwork? ROTK clock? Oh, what? What is going on here, Luke?
First time picked in the division.
Oh
in the
my
Regional
goodness.
Qualifier.
Well, we couldn't have predicted that. Right.
So he's also pretty bad defending towers. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Purification. That's a bit of wave clear.
Okay.
You know, to say, hey mate, go stand by those creatures.
Are you here for Omni Knight? Do you like Omni Knight?
I don't know, man. This is. I'm gonna be very interested to see what Ehome pick.
Okay. Well, if
It's
one,
good. It's very good, I guess, against the Mirana, Elder Titan,
Yeah.
Timbersaw kind of action. You know, Repel is brilliant this game.
yeah, and you know the way
Repel
that
is and against Disruptor as well, making sure your teammates don't get because. But Repel could be, and it's really nice with the Storm Spirit. You know, Hero that doesn't really want to buy BKB.
Sure.
And he said CTY's playstyle, someone like an Omni Knight's going to be able to support that and complement it.
Guardian Angel's nice for giving some armor to Terrorblade.
Yeah.
There's that. I just
Yeah.
don't really get the synergy behind this draft. Is there any synergy? I'm not.
So how do you lane this as well? Is it just dual lanes? Terrorblade bottom with one, and then like Omni Knight off top or something?
I suppose. I mean, you could
Yeah.
also sack your Omni Knight and kind of just. Or TK, you do your best. He's not terrible as a laner. Where's Slacks when you need him? For some-
Yeah, Slacks knows all about this.
Isn't he like ranked 12 on Dota buff?
No.
He actually is.
No, he's not.
You wanna
Is
look
he?
at-
I'll have a look at it.
Let's
Oh
look
wait,
it
I
up right
can't
now.
look it up actually. 'Cause
I'll look
when
it
he
up.
captures lol.
I think
You
he's
can
actually
check-
ranked
check it
really
out.
high. Alright, Dota buff, Omni Knight.
I'll look for Slacks.
He's actually like not terrible as a Dota player. What?
There are
Player
player
rankings.
rankings.
Alright, Sir Action Slacks.
Nah, he's not up there.
He's ranked 12. Alright, last time I checked he
Ranked.
was. Sir Action. Alright, he's not. He's terrible.
He's gone.
Maybe he hasn't played
He's
with him.
full. Maybe he hasn't played for a while. To be fair with all this
Or
travel.
maybe he changed his name. Who knows?
Maybe once upon a time. Oh no, he's there. I saw him.
You saw him?
Slacks.
Slacks.
Yeah,
He's ranked 9th.
He's ranked 9th in the world. Oh man, Spectre, Ice. I see
Okay.
the Timber. He's going to stick to GG.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Venge and Skywrath, every haunt,
Yeah.
they're just food. Where you have like, you know, Sylar, CTY burning.
Yeah.
On the other side, you got Ice,
Осталось
Fenrir,
5
Lanham. Like these are just some big names.
These are the big boys.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm pretty happy for this one. Do you do the?
At the game end, over the Spectre.
Okay,
Kobe.
that's a safe bet. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, first player to get 15 denies. I guess Spectre might have a bit of trouble in his lane. Do you go for
Against
the
an
safe
Omni
lane?
Knight, you think?
If it's an Omni in the sky, it might be annoying. I don't know, Screw, he'll still get in there.
Yeah.
Or would you go for the TB? Sylar?
I'm gonna go with Ice.
I'm gonna go with Sylar.
Okay.
You go.
Yeah.
Okay. Will there be a courier snipe? I'm gonna go for.
Most games don't have a courier sniper, right?
Most don't, but there's a storm and such. I'm gonna go Fiesta's good mobility.
Okay.
And team of the first tower kill. I've got a favour of the side with the TB for sure. 100% Vici game is gonna get the first tower.
First.
That's what we'll go for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you think?
That's all
You're
guesses.
gonna go. You're gonna go Vici as well. I mean,
Yeah.
you got the Terrorblade, haven't you? You know what I mean? It's gonna be pushing down lanes. But yeah, here we have it. Game 1 then. In this best of 3 series. Laning wise, RTK, yeah, indeed looks to be on his own at the moment. CTY in the mid on the storm. Burning's hanging around with him, but we'll almost certainly head down towards the bottom. John HYM on the Scarif Mage and Sylar on that carry TB. Over on the side of Ehome, nothing too surprising. Old Chicken on the Rana, which he does know and love. Ice bringing the Spectre into this one. Old Lanham on the Elder Titan. Femra on Disruptor. And Old 11 on the offlane. Timbersaw. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see, because one thing that you got to say for Vici Gaming, I remember kind of time ago, Sylar Terrorblade was apparently something that the East were very scared of. In the Chinese scene, this guy is seen as a bit of a master on the Terrorblade.
Yeah, he was actually the original Terrorblade. He was
Yes,
playing it
yeah.
when no one was really playing it.
Yeah.
So he knows this hero in and out, and he is looking at the rest of the scene right now. As all these hipsters copying me.
He is a bit.
Yeah, he's the original hipster.
He really is. And laning wise as well, Old 11. Alright, level 1 Iron Talon Timbersaw jungle. That's the plan. What do you think of that? Dodging the lane.
It is a very tough
Yeah.
lane for him, right? A magic missile into silence, for example, from Skywrath Mage, and of course the metamorphosis right clicks. He's probably just dead, so he's gonna dodge it straight up. And reactive armor is actually pretty good here, right?
I guess it kind of works out indeed, yeah. Straight up, 7 to 8 armor, mid lane, bit of action. Old Lanham and Old Chicken come through, but interesting decision to dodge the lane. RTK, this is out with a bit bigger balls. He says, screw it, I'm staying in this offlane.
RTK never dodges lanes.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in Iron Talon. He just believes in the omniscience
He's
Yeah.
also getting wrecked in lane right now, so I don't know.
Ah, he's getting a bit of XP.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but as you said, it's not. I mean, it's not going to be the easiest lane for the Omni.
Yep.
But at the same time, I guess he shouldn't die. Once he's level 2 and he's got Repel and Purification, it's hard for Ehome to catch him out unless he's massively out of position.
Yeah, but the right clicks will still ensue.
Yeah.
With Assault and jungle, though, that does free up the Vici supports. For example, you see the Skywrath mage now just, you know, he doesn't need to be bought, so he's gonna go mid and harass Old Chicken nonstop. And Skywrath does have one of the best level 1 harass spells if you want to dump your entire mana pool, as he's doing so, sending a 1 Arcane Blast into Old Chicken after another.
This is some very interesting lanes coming out from both sides. Pings out to Old Lanham, he's hanging around the mid, but indeed this observe award from Vici Gaming, spotting out the whereabouts of the Elder Titan. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly Old Lemon can get his feet off the ground on this jungle Timbersaw. And indeed, if Vici Gaming can do anything to react to it, I guess they can't. This is the beauty of putting the Timbersaw in the jungle. It's unlikely we're going to see anyone head up there anytime soon. I mean, I guess maybe when there's a couple of levels on the Skywrath and the Vengeful Spirit, they can look to be quite active across the map. But even at that, I mean, a ganking Vengeful Skywrath, are you going to be able to kill a Timbersaw? I don't know if you are, right?
I think if they really want to commit for a goal, they probably can, like a smoke or two. But I think they're finding more value in shutting down the Mirana mid.
Yes.
Because Mirana is one of those heroes that, until she gets her ag, she's really just, you know, a random hero, maybe a Mirana ult or two. So I think they find much more value making sure that Old Chicken never gets off the feet, his feet off the ground. Because one thing that we do know from this draft is Ehome is really counting on that Mirana to kill the Terrorblade, right? The big burst nuke damage. So as long as you could delay that Mirana Aghanim Scepter, I think that's their primary goal.
Oh, top lane RTK. He's trying his best to be a right nuisance. He's not got a lot of CS, but he is finding the levels against the Spectre, and in fact managing to slow the Spectre down a little bit more than, of course, Silas TV. But there's your first blood. Old Lanham blocking out the Skywrath as he tries to go up to the high ground, and Old Chicken jumps in for a bit of the action.
Okay.
Nice bit of a catch there for Ehome, getting themselves onto the board with that first kill. And they do need it as well, because as we can see, the mid lane matchup, obviously understandably from the start, it really is favouring CTRI incredibly heavily. And he's a full level ahead of this Mirana, and well, more than triple the CS.
Yeah, I think in a true 1v1 it's a bit closer, but obviously with a Skywrath mage going into that lane, you know, zapping Old Chicken non-stop, it is a little bit more storm favored. I'm actually just more impressed with RTK being able to handle this top lane.
Yeah.
He's actually keeping up in terms of levels compared to the Timbersaw, hitting level 4 just now, and Timber is straight up jungling, hitting level 4 as well.
I mean, how long does this Timber stay in the jungle for? Is it just until he hits the 6? Then we'll maybe see him start to try and help out in the lanes.
Yeah, I really wonder that myself as well. I mean, you could go to the bottom lane as 6, maybe start defending the tower if the push comes your way. He also hasn't put a single point into Timber Chain just yet. He won't need it in the jungle, obviously, but once he does go into the lane, a single point in Timber Chain is the bare minimum to actually stay in the lane.
Mid lane. Oh, Lanham looking for the setup. It's going to be the stomp. Can they find an angle for the arrow? No, it doesn't matter. C2 actually popping the invis just before that happened, so there was no chance really for Ehome to follow through.
Okay, you're wondering when he's going to go back in lane. Apparently right now. But
okay. No Timber Chain still though.
Yeah, that's the concern here. He does get an immediate D ward here, taking away the ward that Burning placed. I guess he felt comfortable enough to survive a gank with a lot of armor and fused raindrop. But I think if they want to go both smoke for him, they can actually get the kill. Them being HYM and Burning on their support heroes.
No. It's going to be interesting to see how well they deal with Terrorblade, because as we said, obviously Sylar Terrorblade is something that you are to be scared of, and this is a Sylar Terrorblade that of course has had free farm at the beginning of the game, so Sylar's had the opening that you wanted, and we'll see if they are able to do anything to shut him down and put him back in his place. And it's also going to be very interesting to watch CTY. As you said, he's a very entertaining player to watch, and he himself, he's got free farm in the mid lane. Let's see if they can burst him down. Arrow into the Starfall, he's level 6 and he zips away. And I believe, yeah, what a time to be level 6 as well.
Level 6, you will start kind of move around the map and start getting the kills. He actually got the max death as well. When you do see, like, for example,
That's nice. I think that's nice, especially against the squishy backline of supports, isn't it? Because, as you said earlier in the draft, Sky and Venge, they're going to hate.
yeah, it's nice if you assume you're gonna get all your Desolate hits in.
Yeah.
I think Spectre Extraordinary Batman always maxes Spectral Dagger.
Ah, he does, yeah. He always does Dagger over the other two, yeah.
Yeah,
every
so we'll see if the Desolate right clicks are gonna matter here as he makes his first haunt.
game. Look at this as well. 6 minutes in, smoke gap, and
Okay.
it's going to be Sylar moving to the top of the map with Burning. This really is something that could catch Ehome off guard.
Oh yeah, Sylar really likes to make this gank because right after you get this kill, you push with your Metamorphosis. So it's 2 birds with 1 stone, that kind of thing. Here we go.
Yeah, let's see. Isosos has got the haunt. We'll see how he uses it. Yeah, he's just going to push straight away. And the gank is unsuccessful. I mean, there's always going to be an issue, really, here. I mean, they only had Magic Missile as lockdown, so at the least, I guess they could turn this into a bit of a push, but, I mean, looking that kill, it was always going to be a tricky one.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they open with Magic Missile, they still won't kill him.
Yeah, it's a weird attempt. But I think they were just hoping to... I mean, on the plus side, you just forces out the Horn. You know, you haven't got to worry about the Spectre joining to kill anyone for a good minute or so.
Sure.
And you're going to be able to take a tier 1. So maybe they're not looking for the kill, they're just looking for the action there. And well, meanwhile, bottom lane, Scarface came into the lane looking for some levels on his own. Eyesight does with the presence of all 11 actually up to finding him in return. And top, they're actually moving in from Ehome. Eyes onto ROTK, he will repel himself, start to back up. Arrow isn't going to connect, nonetheless. Anyway, because they should still find it. Leaping in, old chicken with a rotation, bursting down RTK as they finish the fight. So at the end of the day, it's just Ehome finding a couple more kills across the map and also keeping their tier 1 tower alive.
Yeah, it seems like every one of Ehome's moves is basically countering Vici's movement,
Yeah.
and also getting a little bit of themselves, right? You talked about arrows.
And they can't burst on CT White.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, Ehome just kind of 1 step ahead everywhere compared to Vici Gaming. And the key factor for all of this is that keep in mind that Vici doesn't play well from behind. They don't counter push well. They don't really do well when, for example, Storm and the Terrorblade is under farm. So it's very important for Vici to kind of win these kind of few initial engagements. And so far, they're not really winning them.
But the farm's still good for CTY, but yeah, we yet to see him be able to use this to transition into any kind of fight. So we've got Soul Ring done, but yeah, still a bit of time before the Storm really gets off the ground. Unless he's able to kind of combo with heroes like RT Kelly, Omni Knight, Notification Burst, as he zips in onto a target.
Yeah, actually, there's not really much combo. There's just a bench, I guess, they're comboing off, and maybe they're actually going to pop a smoke together, right?
They look like they are setting up for something.
I guess that smoke.
Top again, potentially. It's just Banner up here, but at least they could look to finish off that tier 1. So finally get that tower that they were looking for earlier.
They actually did scan the bottom area of the map, right? Of Murano, or at least somebody there. So you know that this kill is relatively safe to get, but very important for CTY to not like a glimpse. In fact, actually, Fenrir says, you know what, this is getting a little fishy. I'm going to just get out.
Yeah. Tower's a lost cause. They've just got to let it go. And elsewhere, old Phantom just finding levels of lane. Old 11 still continues to just clear up the counts as he works towards that Octarine, picking up the VIP booster.
So again, like every one of these movements, it's not like Ehome is getting a Roshan or a big tower kill out of it. There's just like small victories here and there, avoiding yet another gank. And I think Ehome is looking to set up their first haunt kill very, very soon. In fact, it's moving up top, I believe. Ehome looking to defend / fight.
They do want to do something about this TV push. But at the same time, it looks like they're just not going to be able to catch it unless Fenrir gets the vision for a glimpse. Ooh. Just on the outskirts, they are close.
They're still really diving for this kill here. They could haunt any time to actually grant that vision.
They could go for Sylar. They've got a glimpse. He's not getting it. What?
No. He already used glimpse previously on illusion.
Oh damn. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
That could have been a big kill.
Disruptor fact, glimpse auto kills an illusion, so if there's a big illusion in your face.
CGI, here we go. He's repelled up, he's going in balls. Big Fenrir will drop Static Storm. Can he get himself out with the repel still on? There's going to be the Horde from Ice turning up to the fight. They haven't been able to find the Revenge still onto the Storm Spirit, but they'll look to take down his helper. REK will be the one to pay. Omni Knight for disrupt there going on as Old 11 continues his killing spree on this Timbersaw. 3-0-0 on the Jungle Timber. It's I mean, is this something we're going to be seeing more of, Lumi, the Jungle Timbersaw? I want to see it in your pubs.
No, I do not. I think the reason Ehome actually had him in jungle is
Yes.
at the beginning they I think had him imagine in lane, but then they saw the lane that he was up against. It was like, okay, none of that. Let's kind of salvage the situation and throw him in the jungle instead. So this was not plan A, but the plan B worked pretty good here as he is a 3-0 and looking to ramp up to even bigger items. So for me, the most important player with farm this game is actually Old Chicken.
Okay.
And he's doing okay. Curry flying out right now, delivering a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay, looks like he's gonna build a point booster. Again, the reason that he's important is he's really their big burst damage, like kind of instant burst damage.
Yeah.
It's gonna be if you're gonna kill the Storm or the Terrorblade, you need that big burst. So for me, his Aghanim's timing is very key, and his farm is okay. It's not anything to be spectacular about, but it's fine.
On bottom lane, Vici. Maybe looking to push in for another tier 1. Things coming out. We'll see if they can do anything to hold this ice. No Haunt for 45 seconds. And he actually smoked up. I mean, they could try for some kind of wraparound, but the tower is already gone. And Ehome still holding themselves back in this position. Maybe wondering if Vici Gamer were going to go in and look for a kill, but it's not going to be the case. And Ehome, not actually going to get anything on the back of this smoke by the looks of it.
Yeah, they're also slowly losing out in terms of the net worth. Vici Gaming, because of all these outer towers they've taken, is starting to build a very small but sizable lead. So we're going to see that Moonlight Shadow being activated.
And we're pinged onto it. They want to wrap around as a CTY.
Oh. Mirana all ends. Now the illusion scouts everybody out, and that should be the end of the game. Now speaking of catch, Ehome actually doesn't have too much. I mean, they have Haunt and Glimpse, I guess, as catch methods.
Yeah, I guess it's what laying down the static storm straight away.
Right.
Is how they want to look to try and catch out the storm.
And if you think about that from that perspective,
yeah,
the repel really messed things up for Ehome.
Yeah, the repel is great.
Yeah. So I guess we're understanding a little bit more with that Omni Knight pick. So far, they hasn't. Oh! What happened?
He hits an arrow.
Is that going to be a kill?
Oh,
on top, whips him back in.
Oh, Old Chicken.
All right.
Hitting the arrow from a TP and onto the tower.
Well, I say that they don't have a lot of catch, but you can hit 5-second arrows. That's quite a bit of catch.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's gonna help him getting towards that Aghanim Scepter. Point booster already on the Courier. But how do you feel about the pace of this game, right? Because sure, you know, the game is going slow and Ehome's got 5 kills, but at the end of the day, you're kind of trading farm against the Terrorblade, or you? I would be scared.
You've got the Spectre, haven't you? I feel that in itself.
Okay. Yeah.
It's still good news for you. I mean, Spectre TB late game. How do you think that pans out? Oh, 11. I mean, that's one way to deal with the reactive armor, just blowing up with a bit of magical burst.
Not dead just yet.
Oh, he's gonna live.
Heal. Yeah, he's fine.
Oh my goodness.
Infused raindrops doing work.
Aye. Burns back onto burning. No follow through. But yeah, that's a nice bit of play there for them keeping the Timbersaw low. They will still lose the tower though, and Vici Gaming, they're pushing in hard. They may just go for a tier 2 push as well. Yeah, with the Metamorph. It's going to be a question of what Ehome can do to stop this. They do have the Horn available from Ice, and he's going for the Vanguard straight into Diffusal Blade this game for Spectre.
So you know, earlier you were asking how do I feel about the Spectre versus Terrorblade matchup.
Yes.
What we see right now is what I think about it. On one side, you got a carry that can actually lead your team into early pushes, taking early objectives. On the other side, you have a carry hero that's trying to farm up and essentially not really doing anything for the next 10 minutes at the very least. I think this is like the 4th or 5th Metamorphosis we've seen Sada use just to take towers. So that's how I feel. I think one is much better than the other. You could play with your team, take objective, and just really be on the offensive. Whereas Spectre kind of just hope that your team could, you know, kind of being taken left and right. So obviously once Spectre does get farmed, then, you know, he could go for pickoffs. But Haunt is really only going to be too useful against the 2 supports.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the support stuff for the backlines. And I guess one of the things as well that's kind of nice for Sylar in these fights, if people are getting low, and then the Haunt comes through, you can always send one of the illusions, and it's going to get him instant full health. If he doesn't have anyone else around that is already at the max health on Ehome.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, if these two carries ever get into like a punching situation, the Spectre doesn't punch that fast, that hard. So it's very likely Sidelock to get off a Thunder versus the Spectre, and that's where Spectre gets in trouble. With that said though, Spectre is building Diffusal Blade, and Diffusal Blade just hard counters Omni Knight, so they do have that going for Ice 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 and the rest of the Ehome.
I mean, what do you think the next play is really for Vici Gaming? Are they waiting for the Terrorblade to pick up a certain item? Does he need to finish off his Manta Style before they try and go in again? Or can they already look to try and look for tier 2s? Or is there no reason for them to rush it in your mind?
I think Vici, basically they're playing around their Metamorphosis cooldown. Whenever they got that up, they feel empowered to do something with it. And, you know, whether it's a smoke gank into a tower play or whether just straight up walking to your tier tower and take it, like we just saw maybe a minute ago.
Yes.
I think when that ultimate is up, you know, regardless whether he has Manta Style or not, I think the Vici is looking to make a play, whether it's gank or push. But yeah, he's definitely looking. Well, just kind of respect the Ehome nuking power.
Well, I guess for the repel. So that's one of the beauties for Sidelock. Doesn't have to worry too much about being purchased.
It'll be useful until the Ice Diffusal thing.
Actually, that's true. Yeah.
So eventually he'll have to get. And also, you know, all the AO is really good at building the Manta illusions. Also, I feel like Ehome has controlled a fairly good draft with dealing with Terrorblade. But this draft isn't just about Terrorblade. We got CTY kind of very quietly, but very quickly getting into that farm, and looks like both heroes simultaneously picks up the Blood.
At the same time. That's kind of... Yeah. So
if we're wondering, you know, how the jungle Terrorblade or Timbersaw doing, it's
doing as well as the mid ults apparently.
Yeah, Fairy's got 3 kills, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Timber did some when he turned into the left. But yeah, Bloodstone on both. It's just going to be interesting to see who is able to build up those charges. I mean, the way that's going so far, it has been Ehome the ones finding a bit more action than Vici Gaming have. At this point, yeah, still slight edge for Vici Gaming overall though, with regards to the network farm and XP, but only slight small beginnings. It's still very early on. Vici Gaming smoking up. They're ready to go for some action. The ping's out onto Roshan. They could smoke and go for it with the Metamorphosis, but it's a bit risky, and Ehome are there with the wraparound.
Yeah, they're just using this smoke to protect Terrorblade. Look at Terrorblade. In the meantime, he's going to just punch towers. He's making Ehome to react to this, and his team is right there to back him up. And if Ehome doesn't react quickly enough, they just lose a tier 2 for free. Like they just do right now.
And Ehome are just avoiding this fight as well.
If you keep avoiding, Sylar is coming up to your base. You gotta react right now.
I gotta do something.
Tier 2 is half HP.
Terrorblade. Hey Ehome, what are they gonna do? There's your get away, turning with the swap out, the net coming first, well CTY trap. 11 keeping him underneath the sky, back up. Bloodstone will there though. Thunder on side for more CTY just a slow. They won't be able to find that one. So all in all, only being able to force the Timbersaw to deny himself. Still nice for them, the fact that he will drop down those 4 Bloodstone charges. So a little bit of a victory here for Vici Gaming. They've got to get out with more Starlight, yeah. Oh, with the repel. He doesn't care. He really doesn't care. He's gone. Starlight's out. Safe. He's golden. Oh, 11 was looking to chase, but can't catch them. As Vici Gaming, yeah, they got away with a lot there in the lane, taking down that tier 2, significant damage onto the tier 3, and making the Timbersaw himself.
Ehome, one of the big weaknesses of that draft is apparently they can't. But in that last fight, it shows that, you know, unless you hit those 5-second arrows, when a team fight doesn't go your way, they can't really stick on a target and kill them. Like Storm basically ran away with no mana, ran away with no Metamorphosis. That's the time for Ehome to fight, but they couldn't actually lock anybody down to take that fight.
No. And kind of nice as well. I quite realised in this draft, but CTY still get a Bloodstone charge for the deny.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's happy with that.
Value.
Yeah, value charge there for the man.